Fantastic. So welcome everybody to online TNG Online Connect. So the main purpose of this, if you haven't been before, is to obviously connect TNG members instead of just in your local groups across the region, across New Zealand, and to bring in some guest speakers who can further educate and further give value to what you get out of your TNG as well. So we had some epic speakers in the past. There's plenty of epic speakers. We've got a long list. And again, if you want to learn about something in particular, please reach out to Melanie or Garth or one of the team or myself so we can find a guest speaker to speak to that or to educate the TNG network as a whole. Talking about education, so today we have Matt, who is going to be sharing. So he has a business called Mars Digital. And what we're going to be looking at today is discovering and harnessing the power of social media marketing for your business. So in a quick masterclass, so Matt himself is the director of Mars Digital, as I said before. His entire philosophy and the reason for starting Mars Digital was around creating solutions for clients that generates a positive return on investment while fitting a budget. Everyone's got a budget for their business, and we all want to try and get the best bang for buck. So that's a space that Matt is working in. And every business is unique, so it needs to be quite tailored, specific to you. So Matt, really interested to see what you have to share with us today. So please take it away.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you for the introduction. Just I guess a little bit more about that before I jump in. I started the business 3 years ago after being in the industry as a whole for, I think at that time it was probably about 9 years. So I've got a huge amount of experience behind me and have worked through various aspects of digital marketing from, well, I actually started as a sales rep, to be honest, and then went into, that was search engine optimization at the time, then into front-end web development, and kind of worked all around the different aspects. And because of that, I've ended up with this really good knowledge base across all facets. And although within Mars Digital, I do have specific team members who are specialists in different areas, what I bring to the table is that knowledge of how it all works together. So yes, this presentation is about social media and how you can get the most out of any social media efforts you put in. But something that is worth looking at is how that fits into your overall digital marketing strategy. So you want it to be consistent. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so an effective social media campaign can do wonders for your business. And on today's agenda, just quickly, we'll go through what I'm going to be looking at. So it's an introduction to social media marketing, how to choose the right platform, what should you post, how much should you post, and then what should you post, whether or not SEO is affected by social media, and then I will have some time to answer any questions that you have. So quick introduction to social media marketing. In January this year, there were around 3.97 million social media users in New Zealand alone. That's increased by about 2.8% or 110,000 since the same time in 2020. And I'm sure that's probably gone up, probably even more because of additional lockdowns for 2022 when we get those statistics. The average business allocates around 15%, or sorry, that's the average small business allocates around 15% of their revenue to social media marketing. And that's a global statistic, not just New Zealand. So with some small local businesses, they do look at even 25, 35% of revenue as well. The biggest startups, they tend to allocate around 75% of their revenue to social media. And an example of that is the platform that I use to create this presentation, which is Canva. And I will touch on Canva later on as well. So,
sorry to interrupt, Matt. Are you able to turn up your volume a little bit or speaker? That would be great.
Sure.
Thanks. Cheers.
Is
Please
that a
continue.
bit better? Just moved it closer. Awesome. Yeah, so the average daily spend, again, this is a global statistic, on social media marketing is around $350. So that might seem like a lot. A lot of New Zealand businesses don't spend anywhere near that. I'm well aware of that one, but this is a global figure, just to give you some context. So where to start? First, you need to choose the platform or platforms that you're going to engage with your potential community, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, so forth. You need to create your brand's profile, and that's just the first step. And it is worth considering claiming your company name across various different platforms, even if you're not going to use them straight away. And then the third step is to grow your social media audience. So that's creating a bit of a community, engaging with your audience, your customers, and then effectively presenting yourself as an authority on a particular subject. So how do we choose that right platform? There are so many social media platforms out there. You've all heard of Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok's been one that's blown up somewhat recently, Snapchat, Twitter, even ones like YouTube and WhatsApp can be considered to a degree social media. And then you've also got Reddit and Pinterest, and there's a few others. When it comes to the share of New Zealand population by platform, you can see YouTube's right at the top there with around 84%, Facebook in the 80s as well. Then Instagram, we're dropping down to around 55 to 60% of people using it. And then from there, you get progressively less with WhatsApp, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, and TikTok at the bottom there. So YouTube and WhatsApp, as I mentioned, they kind of break the standard thinking of what social media is. But to define it, social media platforms are websites and applications that enable users to share and create content or participate in social networking. So when you think of YouTube, it's someone like myself or you. You can create a video and post it up on YouTube for anyone to see, create comments, and interact with you. So in that sense, it is very much a social media platform. WhatsApp is a messaging platform, but it does allow you to add additional functionality. You can integrate it into websites and so forth, and create communities within WhatsApp. And in that sense, it does breach into the social media category. So when should you use Facebook? Facebook is great when it comes to sending more traffic to your website rather than any other social media platform. It's great for a focus on news and entertainment. It has a strong emphasis on video content, so little snippets. Let's say I take some snippets out of this recording. That would be great for Facebook. The average user on Facebook is 30 plus, and it's good for both B2B and B2C. So Facebook is a bit of an all-rounder, but it does have a slightly older demographic than if you were targeting teenagers, for example. When should you use Instagram? Instagram is highly visual, so it's great for both static and video content, but you need to capture someone's attention with that image immediately. So it's not optimized for driving web traffic, and that's why you'll often see link pages added to websites, or in Instagram bios, you click on it, opens up, and it's got a bunch of different options that people go through, and then it links to the website. It's suited very well for strong visual brands. An example that comes to mind that quite often focuses on Instagram as opposed to Facebook is actually interior design, because it is extremely visual. You need to get across quite easily what it's going to look like, and you can create beautiful layouts. The average user is below 35 years of age and is mostly female. It's also ideal for B2C. So another example is beauty industry. The beauty industry does extremely well on Instagram. It still does well on Facebook, but Instagram is by far superior for that. when should you use LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a professional networking platform, and your content needs to reflect this. So anything that you put on LinkedIn should really be focused around sharing industry-related articles, general professional content, and building that authority in that industry. It is ideal for B2B. So someone like myself should be using LinkedIn. People who sell businesses should be using LinkedIn. And then the average user on LinkedIn is also in a professional role. So if your target market is business owners, the management level, or pretty much anyone that engages with the business community, then LinkedIn is the place to be. And finally, I wanted to go into TikTok. So in general, this is a newer platform, or it's a very new platform, and newer platforms create the youngest audience. So TikTok is flooded with teenagers and even preteens, but the majority of the audience is between 16 and 24, and around 60% of those users are female. So if you're marketing predominantly to people who are young, then you want to keep a lookout for the latest social media trend. And right now that is definitely TikTok. So there are a few others that we mentioned earlier. We have things like Reddit and Twitter, which we can discuss when I'm talking about SEO. But then Snapchat, for example, is in a similar boat to TikTok. It's a relatively younger platform and generally used for quick messaging. The uptake in New Zealand is a lot less, but well, compared to the US, for example. But if you are going to be advertising on Snapchat, the primary target market again is between 16 and it's about 28. So other social media platforms are a bit niche, so it really comes down to exactly defining who your audience is and doing that research to see where they spend their time. Obviously, I've given you some blanket information that you can use to help redirect or direct any research that you do, but it is all about finding where your audience spends the majority of their time and being there with them. So managing all these platforms. I mentioned I would get into Canva a little bit, and that's kind of now. So Canva is a freemium-based application that allows you to create posts, presentations, just like this one, as well as documents and a variety of other graphics. By freemium, if you don't know what that means, there's a free version and a paid version. So the free version is pretty decent. It allows you to do the majority of just creating posts and graphics, etc. The premium version, which does cost money, allows you to schedule those posts that you create within Canva directly to your social media platforms. It also allows you to do things like there's a magic background remover tool that is actually really well done, that cuts out backgrounds from images, and it works on more than just solid colors, which is why I say it's very well done. So Canva is a great platform for people that aren't graphic designers, that don't have Photoshop skills, but want to throw something together that is visually appealing and will capture people's attention. So if you're going to be doing your own social media marketing, I'd recommend checking out Canva if you haven't already. The next platform that is worth considering would be something like Hootsuite. Again, this is a freemium-based application, but it's specifically set up to manage social media accounts. So you can import and collect a whole lot of different social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can put all those and have all the feeds coming into one central hub, post out all your content across each of those accounts, make changes between those accounts as well if you want to do different hashtags, for example, which again, I'll touch on in a minute. But it does allow you to also see messages and respond to people across various platforms without having to log into Facebook and Instagram separately and then LinkedIn just to check messages. Finally is Social Champ, and this is one that we use internally at Mars Digital. So we use this for all our clients for social media campaigns that we run. And it's a premium social media aggregator, meaning that it works in a similar way to Hootsuite and connects a whole lot of different social media accounts, but it also gives us a lot of information around the best time of day and how people are interacting with posts with this sort of software. And I believe Hootsuite in the premium version has just released this as well, where it analyzes the type of content that you've got and it makes a suggestion on the time of day that you should be posting, as well as different recommendations on hashtags and so forth as well. So what should you post and how often? So there's a few things that we need to look at here. We need to consider your audience. So who is your target market? What do they care about? What do they do? Consider your industry. So if your target market cares about something that's completely unrelated, let's say they care about cats, but you sell real estate, yes, you can do some cat imagery and so forth and photos of cats in houses, blah, 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 but it's not really going to be the core of your post. You still need to be relevant to your industry, provide information around real estate, for example. Use video and pose questions. So the use of video is becoming more and more important. In fact, there was a recent update or recent announcement from Instagram that said they came out in an interview, said that they are no longer an image sharing platform. And by that, they didn't actually mean that they're no longer going to allow images to be shared. It was just the push of video. Videos get more engagement, people pay attention to them, and they have basically more time on Instagram and Instagram like that. So they are promoting video content over still imagery. Posing questions is all about creating engagement. So it's getting people to think about what you've said and also comment on the post that you've made. When someone comments on your post, they like it, that's interaction, that's an engagement. Facebook, Instagram, and the other social platforms all consider that to be a bit of a thumbs up and a bit of a promotion of that content, and therefore they should say, we're going to show this to more people. Less is more, be consistent. That's all about saying, right, if I can only set aside time to make one post per week, or I can set aside a Monday once a month to bust out 5 or 6 posts, then that's fine. Do that, post them regularly. Don't come up with a whole lot of posts. Don't sit there on that Monday and come up with 5 or 6 posts and post them over 1 week, and then you've got 3 weeks of nothing. That's not going to work very well. It's not consistent. You will fall off people's feeds, and the social media platforms themselves won't promote you as heavily. So create a bit of a schedule. I just touched on that in the last point, but that's where you can look at your calendar and go, okay, yes, I can spend a couple of hours once a week or a couple of hours once a month to create these posts, and I'm going to sit down, come up with some ideas, mock some up, and that's going to be my post for the month or for the week. Don't oversell. One of the biggest mistakes people make with social media is thinking that if they go, hey, this is my product, this is how much it is, why don't you come and buy it? That's not going to work. People don't really care. Just frankly, they want to be slowly sold that product. So give them information, bring them into that product without actually telling them to buy it. Post something like, hey, these are the amazing results this does. Then a couple of posts later, you can go, oh, that thing I was talking about where this person got amazing results or they look fantastic now, this is the product that we sell that does that for you. So they've seen the results, they've seen why they should buy it, and now you're telling them that they can get that same effect themselves. Then adjacent topics. So I used real estate just before as an example, and it's a really good example to demonstrate what I mean by adjacent topics. If you're a real estate agent, you can make posts on things like whether it's the changes to taxation laws around having multiple properties, or whether it is mortgage rates and changes along those lines, because that is very much of interest to your audience, and it is still affecting you, your business, and anyone that you're interacting with for your real estate. So it's not just about being selfish, so to speak, and just talking about what it is you do and what you can do for your audience. It's about giving them that information and relevant information that is going to affect any decision that comes out of their interactions with you as well. Finally, using hashtags and @ tags. So hashtags, if you don't know what they are across Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn and Twitter, hashtags are effectively topics. It's the easiest way to describe them. You can create a hashtag, and anyone else who uses that hashtag, all those posts will appear in one feed, i.e. that hashtag feed. @ tags are when you're tagging a person or a business. So if you've ever had a comment on Facebook and someone's responded to you, comes up and notifies you on your phone, that's an @ tag. Facebook automatically puts an @ tag at the beginning of replies. So a few examples of eye-catching content. I'm not going to go into each of these quickly, but I'll let you have a quick look before I move on. So what makes eye-catching content? So it needs to have high quality imagery. It needs to be bold, striking colors, although you can break rules, of course. There's use of cute animals. There's often action shots that portray a feeling, subvert expectations, create a little bit of discomfort, and also a lot of the very well done posts will minimize the amount of text in the post itself, unless they are an inspirational post. So if you're looking at putting out a quote, of course that's going to have a lot of text. But if it's not about a quote and that inspiration aspect, minimize the amount of text if you can. Finding the right hashtag. So I've touched on hashtags twice, but how do we actually know what hashtags to write? So when you use social media and start looking at creating a hashtag, there are tools out there like Hashtagify, Later, which is a platform for social media, and Social Champ, which we use, that all make hashtag suggestions. So they look at your content and say, you know what? This content is very similar to this other content that's done well, and these are the hashtags that they used. Boom, here's some recommendations. I wouldn't say that you should go ahead and just use whatever's recommended, because generally speaking, they look at what the most popular hashtags out of those ones are. And if you're posting your post to something that gets 1,000 hashtags in an hour, or 1,000 posts in an hour, then you're going to get buried amongst everything else, and it's not going to really do anything. It is about finding that balance where it gets consistent posts, but not so much that no one's ever going to see it. You should also stalk your ideal customer. It's a little bit, might sound a little bit weird to say, but see what they're doing. See what hashtags they use and what ones are relevant to you. If they're posting consistently with hashtags that have any sort of association to what you do, then use that hashtag. Chances are they're going to be seeing it. Then check out what your competitors do and what industry leaders do. So see what your competitors do, look at what posts do well for them, and see what hashtags they've used. When it comes to these hashtags, you also want to bear in mind that you don't want to pick too many, and you probably need to look at about 7 at most. Then the other aspect I did mention, which was don't pick hashtags which have too many posts, because you will get buried. But use tools like Hashtagify to check the popularity and trends. So social media and SEO. How does social media affect your SEO? So even platforms like Google My Business can be considered a social media platform, generating positive reviews, people mentioning you, and your rankings will go up. Again, it's considered or can be considered social media because there is interaction between a wider audience and yourself or your business. Google also looks at thousands of, hundreds upon thousands of factors when determining the rankings of websites, several of which can be improved through social media. Things like link building and the offsite SEO with Reddit and YouTube. Very, very good places to create links. Activity level with social media in general shows that your business is active and that you are engaged in your community, and therefore that's a positive sign and your website will start to rank higher. Social influence with things like Facebook and Twitter, the more following that you have, Google sees that as you are, again, engaged with your audience and that people respect you and that they want to hear what you have to say, and therefore your rankings go up. Reviews and public standing, again with Facebook, and locality and reviews with Google My Business will also affect your ranking. What Google doesn't want to do is say something like, oh, you've got really poor reviews, let's put you at the top. Because if everyone that goes to your business is getting a bad service, Google doesn't want to keep recommending you. But if you're getting 5-star reviews, they will. Then the other thing with social media and SEO is Google and Twitter have entered a formal partnership, which means that Twitter is now the most important social media platform when it comes to SEO. Tweets are more likely to get indexed, links from tweets have a greater weight, and Twitter is now the best place to try and build that social authority. The downside, though, is that not many people in New Zealand use Twitter compared to something like Facebook, but the more businesses that jump on, and I've gone from recommending that people don't touch Twitter to saying that you really need to use Twitter for social media or for SEO. And as that happens more and more, then people will start to engage on Twitter as well. Questions? Does anyone have any questions? I kind of powered through that, but I'm an open book if anyone has anything they want to ask.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Katie.
Thank you for that presentation, Matthew. It was really informative and interesting. I have a question. I'm quite an intuitive poster, so I'll go for a walk or I'll do something else and then I'll come up with an idea and I'll be like, oh, that'd be good for a post. How much do you recommend having a strategy, or can that kind of intuitive, natural posting still make headway?
Yes, it can. It really comes down to what works best for you. Some people will sit down and write a strategy and that's going to create a complete mind blank and they're never going to be able to follow it. And if that's the case, of course, that's going to end up getting worse results for you. But if you can sit down and come up with some sort of broad strategy, and then when you're on your walk and you come up with an idea and go, oh, that would be a really cool post, create it and see how it fits to that strategy. And if you do that regularly, you might come up with 2-3 posts in a week, and then you can kind of go, okay, maybe it should be in this order as opposed to that order. And then from there, you can go, right, this is now my schedule. I come up with them ad hoc because I like to do it when I'm going for a walk, but I will think of 2 or 3 most likely each week, and then I'll be able to schedule that out and say 2 a week.
Thank you.
No worries.
Kaz?
Yeah, hi Matt. Great presentation. Always gets little nuggets out of it every time. Quick question about podcasts. How do they fit into kind of the social media realm, and is there an ideal time for those?
That's
length.
Okay, length. Yeah, that's very dependent on your audience. some podcasts that are short will do really well. Some that are long will do really well. Yeah, that's probably more of a thing that we would need to sit down and look at specifically for you. But overall, you're probably looking at around a 20-minute podcast as a general rule. At that kind of point, people can listen to it when they're driving, when they're on their break, and you're not going to go beyond that sort of length of time. So the ones that people can listen to when they're just doing something mindless is perfect.
Cool, thank you. And is there a way that is that a social media platform? Is that something that you just add to the other things like Facebook, and does it have to be a whole separate tool, or is there a way to feed it all in together?
It really depends what you're looking at. Podcasts will, yeah, I mean, if you're doing a proper podcast, then you're pushing out to a variety of different platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple and so forth. So there's other special tools specifically for that. I would then use social media to promote that. But realistically, yeah, even podcasts can be looked at as a form of social media.
Well, thank you.
No worries.
Melanie, you had a question?
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. That was awesome. One of the things that got me was you said early on about being consistent and to spread the posts over a week or a fortnight or a month rather than posting a whole lot in one day. And I have to say I'm absolutely guilty. I post a whole lot in one day. So can you recommend a tool for scheduling for a small business to use to spread them out?
So something like that premium version of Canva will do that if you're using that, or the free version of Hootsuite. If you are only going to be using 2 platforms, then the free version of Hootsuite will allow you to do that. So for example, Facebook and LinkedIn would probably be the best for TNG if you're only picking 2. And that will allow you to go, okay, yep, I want to post this one today at midday, that one tomorrow at 1 p.m., and this one on Friday at 8 a.m.
Okay, so just taking that a step further, with video, if we're doing short videos, did you say video is good on Facebook? Was it Facebook?
It's good across all platforms. But ones like Facebook and Instagram are definitely pushing it pretty heavily. And Instagram was the one that I mentioned, have come out and said that they're no longer an image sharing platform.
Right, okay. And probably my last question is, we've always had a Twitter account that our blogs go out to, but I've probably never really understood much about Twitter. So who's looking at Twitter? Yeah.
Right now, very few people in New Zealand. I got to be honest. That's the reason that I've spent 10 years saying don't bother with Twitter, but I've kind of flipped that on the head recently because of that partnership with Google, where it has become important for SEO, and because of that, my recommendation is not to look at Twitter as a social media platform yet. Look at it as a place to generate a positive SEO experience and start pushing that aspect. And when you do end up, or when New Zealand does end up using Twitter more as a social media platform, because it will happen, then because of that, and because you've got all those posts and you have been using it, you're more likely to be at the forefront of companies that are getting followed and so forth. On a side note, if you are looking at something like the free version of Hootsuite or anything along those lines, you can look at Zapier. Zapier does, it allows you to do 5 integrations for free, meaning that you can say, I want this post from Facebook to automatically be shared to Twitter. So there's other ways around that. But if anyone has any specifics on how to set that up for them, you can email me as well and get in touch, and I'm happy to go through that.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi Matthew. Can I ask you two questions? In Facebook, are you talking about live video, or just the normal videos in Facebook?
I was specifically referring to posts, but going live on Facebook, if you've got the audience, is definitely a good idea. And if you've got something to share, if you are going to go live, you probably want to do about a 15-20 minute thing if it's, if it's more of an information dump. But if there's a specific, let's say it's to go through something like this, then it can be an hour. If it's something like, I'm going to pick on real estate again and say you're going live to do a walkthrough of a property that's up for rent or that's just been listed for sale, especially in something like level 3 where it's limited, making use of Facebook Live is definitely recommended.
Right. Thanks. For the Instagram, there are few platforms. They have, I'll show you on this one. In the platform here, they got Read, they got TV Live, whatever it is. So you're talking about videos on these two platforms or just the Instagram videos?
On both.
On both.
So yeah, that Instagram TV will end up disappearing, and it's going to be part of the overall Instagram app. There's going to be no distinction between the two, but the video aspect will be focused on a lot more heavily.
I just realized in the Read, they can't follow TikTok at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Yeah. So which one is the most powerful to post a video in Instagram?
So again, that comes down to each individual business and so forth. I'm more than happy to have a look and send you information for you specifically if you like.
Yeah.
I just need to know your business name and account.
Yeah, okay. I'm a personal trainer. I'm more on fitness models. There's so many out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Matthew. I'll give you my email or my link onto my website. You can have a look. Thank you for that.
No worries. I will just pop my email address in the chat. So if anyone does have further questions or wants me to look into something for them, fire it through to that, and I'm more than happy to do it.
Awesome. Oh, thanks, Matt. That was definitely a very informative session. And yeah, hopefully everyone else got some good value out of that. While we are still stuck in lockdown, you can spend a lot of time on your socials. Now's the time to work on your business. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll just do a quick wrap around the room. So if you just want to introduce yourself, maybe something you got out of the meeting, and what you do, that would be great. So what I'll do is I'll just go around and then let you know when to unmute yourself. So do remember to unmute yourself as well, so we can hear all the lovely things you have to say. So let's start with Adrienne, because you're already unmuted.
Okay. Adrienne Stefaner from Borders Real Estate Walk with Coast to Coast. I've been in real estate over 20 years now in the area. We've been in Snells Beach 40 years, and Walkwith is our township. So as you can all see, it's actually thriving at the moment because we're one of the next towns that's sort of exploding and now included in Auckland City. So we've been quite busy and keeping up with Zoom meetings, and because we can't sort of freely go out there. But we have the Walkwith franchise. It's a sort of boutique internet-based business. So that's Adrienne Stefaner, Borders Walkwith Coast to Coast. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. Ken.
Hi, yeah, great, Matthew. That was good contact. I didn't understand all the trickiness, and I've always struggled with that Twitter. The big do I really need something else to distract me during the day? So, but obviously I need to look closer at that. It not help, we help people get a mortgage, but also we try and help people to pay it off. We've seen the banks, some of the banks have actually done 2 increases this week. So interest rates are definitely going up, and you want to look closely at that and try and be one step ahead, and that's where we sort of navigate. So Ken Jackson, the Mortgage Lab.
For Bob?
Yes, hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for that presentation, Matthew. We're actually in the same market as you are. So we're from V Digital Marketing. We mainly specialize in web designs and SEOs, some advisory and social media as well, but not as in depth as you do. So we're just making web designs and SEOs available to especially SMEs. That's our primary clientele. Thank you. Farbod from V Digital Marketing.
Cool, thanks, Rod. Kylie.
Hi, absolutely brand new to this kind of stuff. So Kylie is actually my daughter, so I'm going to have to set up my own Zoom account for that. But we're Unique Haulage. We move trailer boats, caravans, farm machinery. We've got a 5.5 metre flatbed trailer. So we just cart whatever people need around the country. We've been as far as Gore, delivering a classic car down there. We can move Porsches and Lamborghinis. There's a lot needing to be moved around the country at the moment. So we're based in Kirikiri in the far north. So we've got all our travel exemptions to get through Auckland, which is real handy for the Aucklanders to get their boats and jet skis delivered to them, as well as the caravans. Yeah, it's just exploded. We're a brand new company, family owned. The kids come along. They're also learning about marketing, and they just come along to help. We're just wanting them to learn what hard work is about, which is what my husband and I do. So yeah, that's Unique Haulage.
Thank you. Katrina.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, Katrina from Katrina Harding Travel, New Zealand Travel Brokers. Of course, it's been a little bit quiet in the last 18 months with not much travel going on, but the world is opening up, and people are starting to travel. Once we get rid of this MIQ, or at least apparently next week there's going to be some announcement about maybe changing the need to be in managed isolation for 2 weeks when people get home. So now that everyone's vaccinated or almost there, we're certainly looking at people traveling again. They've spent their money on renovations and new cars and boats, obviously. So they're now going to be hopefully putting their money back into travel, and that's what I do. I've been in business for 12, 13 years working for myself, and work from home in Lower Hutt and Wellington, but I've got clients all around the country. So I love to travel, and I love to book travel. So if you know anyone who's thinking about traveling, do tell them to give me a call. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Sajid. Okay, we'll come back to you. Helen.
Hello, everyone. I'm excuse me, Canvas2021 is the name of my business. My focus is at the moment on value, and I mean value right through the whole business. People tend to work on how much value they're receiving for being in their business, or the value that they're going to give their customers. But it's a much wider area than that. And it also links into various other aspects of a program that I have. And I really want to help businesses maximize value and see a real increase in the value of the business from various angles. So that's what the focus of Kennis is.
So thanks, Helen. Katie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Katie Rickson. I'm a freelance copywriter, editor, and public speaker. I have a soft spot for the long stuff, so that means I write blogs, case studies, websites, ebooks. What Matt was talking about, I also focus on SEO and making sure that your message reaches your target audience and that it compels them to act and work with you. I love writing for businesses that are making a difference. So people that are in the sustainability space, the software space, and also service-based businesses like tradies and coaches. I'm offering a free 15-minute consult. So if you'd like to chat a bit more with me, you can book a time, and that's through my website, katyrickson.co.nz/contact. And I'd love to connect with more of you here. Thanks so much for having me.
Cool. Thanks, Katie. Shazid, I think you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
Cool. And if you want to introduce yourself and your business. What do you do?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I'm an accountant and tax agent. I do lots of bank loans and tax compliance work, and at the moment everyone is freaking out about subsidies and RSPs and GSTs. I do lots and lots of IRD work, basically.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Candy.
Hi, I'm Candy Sue. I'm a personal trainer and a transformation coach. At the moment, I'm doing lots of Zoom meeting with my clients about mental and fitness health and get them active. So I'm running group classes in Zoom 4 times a week. And I'm also running a 28 days Be Healthy project. This project is for normal people who are not looking for bikini body or fitness models or bodybuilder. This is more for normal people looking for be healthy and how to stay healthy and fit and fight the covers and in this time of life. So my workshop is on end of this month, 30th October, 12 to 2. If you are interested, come to my workshop. That's my link in the chat there if you wanted to contact me. This is Candy Sue. Looking after your well-being is personal. Thank you.
Thanks, Candy. Jai.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Jai, and thank you, Matthew. That was a wonderful presentation. Yeah, I'm just getting up my setup. Yeah, that was, I'm from Barfoot and Thompson. I didn't have to explain anything much in detail. As everyone knows, nowadays property market is booming, and I'm one of the leading sales agent in Barfoot. If anybody wants to sell their property, I'm the man. Yeah, we there. My website is there, barfoot.co.nz. You can see my profile. I don't have to say anything. If you want in detail, I can tell you my number, 022-500-5155. My name is Jai Oberoi. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jai. Kaz.
Yeah, hi everybody. Kaz from Paws Perfect Dog Training, dog trainer based in Albany on the North Shore, and got a couple of guys who want to say hello today. They've been a bit patient, but now it's time for training. So 10 o'clock's normally our training time. But yeah, if you know of anybody who's really struggling with their dogs at the moment, being stuck at home and especially in lockdown, and they're not the perfect little angels that they thought they were living with, then get them to give me a call. I'm happy to have a chat with them over Zoom because we can't do anything face-to-face just yet. And on a side note, Matt, thank you very much for the presentation. As I said before, always learn something new. And I can personally highly recommend Matt and the job that he does. Super proficient, very, very generous with his time. And he's also helped some of my colleagues as well. So I can't recommend him highly enough. So thanks again, Matt.
Cool. Baptist.
Good morning, TNG. This is Baptist from Tax Advantage. We help businesses to prosper and grow. How do we do that? By offering services like accounting, taxation, business advisory, valuation of businesses, and auditing. Last week, for the last 2 weeks, I've been getting steady flow of new clients. And one question I asked them, why are you leaving your present accountant? And the obvious answer was they do not communicate with me and they charge me for every phone call. So if you want a accountant who corresponds with the clients on a regular basis, give them updates on everything and not charge for any phone calls, talk to me. That's Baptist from Tax Advantage.
Baptist. So there's me, I'm Dan from Ingot. So we're a digital design studio. So we work in that website space, helping businesses better communicate what they do online. And then obviously a website isn't just there to be looked at and be pretty. It's also supposed to be functional. And we enjoy helping businesses use their websites as tools. So if it needs to be a membership site, subscription based, if they need to integrate with third-party systems to streamline their processes, or use your website as a cost and time-saving tool, as well as being able to communicate what you do, that's a space that we love to work in. So the types of businesses are really the ones that are trying to get to that next level in business, or already trying to grow, add locations in, trying to drive more traffic to sell, subscribe, book appointment, get a quote, that sort of thing. So those are the ideal businesses that we love to work with. And that's me, Dan from Ingot Digital Design. And Melanie, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to thank our visitors here today. We had Fabud, who this is his first TNG meeting. Not exactly a normal structured meeting, but thanks for coming along. And Kylie, I'm sorry I don't know your name, from Kirikiri, but it was a pleasure to meet you online today as well. So the networking group is a great support network that we're here to help you connect, improve and grow your businesses, both online and face-to-face. Please reach out to us if there's anything we can help you with. Big shout out today to Katie. That was a fantastic way you added a call to action on your 60 seconds. So well done. Thanks very much for being here, everybody.
Garth.
Well, thanks, Dan. Like Melanie, I'm with TNG. I'm the National Groups Manager. My role is to go around the group. So I'm dropping in through Zoom, helping the groups to grow and helping the individual members to get even better results from their business networking. Hey, Matt, that was a fantastic presentation. You've got such a natural presentation style, filled with information, just superb. So folks, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, because that presentation will be up there, and I'm sure that you'll need to look at it a couple of times to get all the gems that are in there. Thanks also, Dan, for organizing the TNG Connect online. It's great and absolutely fantastic. Cheers.
Great. What would be the name for the YouTube if you want to listen again?
The Networking Group YouTube channel. Just search for The Networking Group.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I can email you a link, Jai.
I've also shared the slides with Dan and Melanie, so I'm more than happy for those to be distributed to everybody as well if you want the written version.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Matt. Really appreciate it. And yeah, absolutely. We'll share those slides along with the recording of this video, so you can go back and review and then connect with anyone in the chat if you want to as well. So same place in a fortnight. We'll be at 10:30, be another hour-long session. And yeah, it'll be great to continue sharing some education with you all. So thanks for those who have joined in on today. And enjoy your long weekend at home.
Okay, catch up with everyone soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.